Welcome back to another episode of Luxury Fridays. I'm your host, Michael LaFido. You are in the right place. If you're an agent, you're a team leader, you're a broker owner, you're looking to differentiate yourself from the competition, you are in the right place. Really excited to be here today on this September 9th. Busy season here. We are seeing things loosen up a little bit in the Chicagoland market. I do have some homeowners, some consumers that watch this as well. So if you are not a real estate agent, not a broker owner, not a team leader, by all means, you can ask questions as well. Literally, what we want you to do is type in your questions in the comment section for today, as well as future episodes. If you are watching a replay of this, then feel free to shoot us an email, Michael@Marketing Luxury Group. Michael@Marketing Luxury Group is the best way to type to get in touch with us, and I will type that in the comment section right now. I'm your host, Michael LaFido. You are in the right place. If you want to learn all things real estate, not just luxury, but all things real estate, although our emphasis is luxury real estate, again, it applies to all price points. There's our email, Michael@Marketing Luxury Group, if you're watching a replay of this, or you want to shoot me a note later. But please type in your questions in the comment sections. Let me know where you're watching from as well. So type in what city, what brokerage you're with. This is a brand agnostic show. It's open to Remax, Coldwell Banker, Sotheby's, Compass, you name it. It's open to everybody. And we are doing a live stream as well on our Instagram. So if you're watching on Instagram, the best way to interact with us is go to our YouTube channel. You go to YouTube and go to Marketing Luxury Group, hit that red subscribe button, and you'll be notified whenever we plan to go live and whenever we are live. Again, we typically do our live streams each Friday at 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern. There's sometimes conflicts. For example, in a couple of weeks, I'll be in Vegas speaking at the LGBTQ Alliance Conference. Well, that week, it's probably not going to be on Friday. But if the best way is go to luxuryfridays.com for the most updated date and time, or go to our YouTube channel. All right, just a reminder, if you are getting value from these, please leave us a like, leave us a review. Same thing if you have our book, Luxury Specialist, and you have value, and we've earned a 5-star review, please leave us one on our Amazon. That would be great. Mark, thanks for watching. Mark is a regular from beautiful Naples, Florida. I appreciate the feedback from last week, Mark, as well. And Brissa from California. You've been on here a lot as well, and we appreciate it. So again, if you guys have comments, questions, please let us know. We have today's topic. I want to bring it on here, is where we got here. I got to pull it up on the screen. Today's topic is, boom, boom, boom. Where are we at? I am trying to find our promotional topic, but I can't see it on our screen. I'm multitasking, but our topic is right here. I'm pulling it up right now. This is our topic for today, is how can you leverage your previous career or careers and experience to differentiate yourself from other realtors? That's going to be our topic for today. And our topic for today is going to be that just in itself. And we lost some people on Instagram. Welcome, Michael LaFido, Luxury Fridays. If you have questions, type them in. We are streaming on multiple channels. Our most popular channel is YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. We're streaming live on Instagram as well. And today's topic is how can you leverage your previous career to differentiate yourself? Again, if you are a consumer, somebody that owns a home, thinking about selling now in the fall, or thinking about in 2023, please ask your questions as well. And Elliot, thank you for jumping on. We got Elliot from Angle Invokers in Seattle. Thank you, Elliot, for jumping in. Angle Invokers is a great brand, friends with a lot of Angle Invokers. And Pamela, welcome from Arizona. So we have a good mixture of agents from across the country, and we're looking forward to today's training. Again, this is Luxury Fridays. I'm your host, Michael LaFido. Before I bring on today's guest, just a reminder as well, you'll see it scrolling across, but in literally 13 days, and actually 11 days from today, we are having our next in-person luxury designation event. You can get all the details by going to luxurydesignation.com, luxurydesignation.com. We're coming to Milwaukee, and we're looking forward to it. Again, about a third of people that attend our events fly in, so there's still time. You can fly into Chicago and drive to Milwaukee, or fly into Milwaukee Airport, International Airport, and attend our event. Join us live in Milwaukee, September 21st. Again, Instagram, looking forward to hearing from your comments as well. You can type them in, but the best way for me to interact is go to our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and go to Marketing Luxury Group, and you'll see that we're streaming live. Just hit that red subscribe button. All right. So last week we had a guest on. This week we have a guest on, and we have guests looking at my calendar. Next month I have next week I have a luxury insurance broker on that's going to be talking about how can you leverage a cost replacements to create urgency. So for example, I'm marketing a couple homes right now, and we had some cost replacements done from my insurance broker. And I'm going to share with you one of those right now. So I'm marketing an amazing property right now that's $2.25 million. And literally, this is the opening sentence. I'm showing you right now the opening sentence in our multiple listing service for this property. I'm going to type that in the comments section so you guys can. Oh, hey, Tim, thanks for the nice comments. Oh, yes, Tim, there you go. You were at my event in Tampa recently. I appreciate that. You helped out, right, Tim? Tim is with, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, you are with Rocket Mortgage, and you were in the audience. I appreciate your help. Tim with Rocket Mortgage was with my at my event, at NAREB's event about a month ago. Tim, I appreciate the kind words. So on the screen right now, I'm going to bring up a property that I represent, and literally it's listed at 2.25. And how are we creating urgency? Well, we had a couple replacement cost evaluations done on the property, and this is the opening sentence in the MLS. Price to sell, this custom Arrowhead, which is a subdivision home, is priced well below the $4,123,000 and $3,979,000 replacement cost. And I put the date on there because this replacement cost was evaluated on August 29th. So people want a deal. And so we're listed at $2,225,000, and we are priced well below that. So that is what we are doing. We're creating urgency in the opening sentence in the MLS. And that's what we're going to be talking about next week. I have a special guest on, and we're going to be talking about these home cost replacements. And again, I'm skeptical by nature. And so I said to him, well, as a consumer or as an agent, I'm going to think, well, of course, the insurance company is going to give a replacement cost much higher. They make more money on it. I said, of course they want that. He goes, yeah, Mike, they make more money on it. However, if my evaluation cost is too high, I got to charge higher, the consumer more. If I charge the consumer more, they're going to shop me around, and they're going to go with somebody that will do it cheaper. So we have to give accurate replacement costs. And so that was his response, that, hey, we can't come in too high. They'll shop us around. So anyways, a long-winded introduction. Again, you are in the right place. If you're a team leader, you're a broker owner, if you're with an independent, you're with a large franchise, you're with XYZ, Coldwell Banker, Keller Williams, Sotheby's, you're in the right place. Luxury Fridays. I'm your host, Michael LaFido. And don't forget about our podcast. We just released a podcast yesterday. Our podcast yesterday was well received. We're already getting amazing feedback from it. Our podcast yesterday was just released. It literally, I want to pull that up on the screen because that's going to be important. Our podcast yesterday was just released. Before I bring Audrey on, I want to make sure that you guys know about our podcast. You can go to luxuryfridays.com, luxuryfridays.com for today's training. But for our podcast, you go to Luxury Listing Podcast, Luxury Listing Podcast. And I want to share with you what that looks like. When you go to Luxury Listing Podcast, you'll be redirected, or go to iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and look up Luxury Listing Podcast is our URL. But if you go to Luxury Listing Specialist on iTunes, you'll find our podcast as well. I just released this podcast yesterday, our 206th episode with Lucinda Gadsden. She's a RE/MAX agent, and Lucinda made more money last year than ever before, and she only worked 6 months. Unfortunately, she had COVID, but Lucinda increased her average sale price by 60% after attending our luxury designation training. And like I said, we have our next one coming up in Milwaukee. A couple podcasts previous to that was our intern. Dugan interned for me last summer, and Dugan just got his real estate license, moved to Nashville, didn't know anybody besides his girlfriend, moved there in May, I believe May 10th or 11th. And 3 months later, he's already done 15 open houses for other people's listings, including a $4.5 million listing. And he has a $1.9 million listing. Again, if you think you have a great story that could be inspiring to other agents, please shoot me an email at michael@marketingluxurygroup.com, and I'll be happy to add you and to our podcast, or at least a Luxury Friday, or maybe both. So with that being said, how can you leverage, and oh, by the way, thanks, Brissa. She loved Dugan's story. So thank you for that feedback. If you haven't, Brissa, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. We could always use more 5-star reviews on our podcast. Yes, you can take our luxury designation training online, Elliot. You can go to luxurylistingspecialist.com, luxurylistingspecialist.com, or if you want over $2,000 in bonus items, including a video brochure, go to luxurydesignation.com. Even though you won't be going to our Milwaukee event, Elliot, if you go there, we will send you all the bonus materials, including some coaching calls. So I would recommend you go to luxurydesignation.com, sign up there, and we'll ship you the bonus materials, and you'll still get access to the Lux University with over 10.5 hours of video training. Thanks for that question, Elliot. All right. So the question, the topic for today, amongst other things, is how can you leverage your previous careers and experience? And with that being said, I have my special guest on today, Audrey. Audrey, thank you for joining us today. Can you hear me okay, Audrey? You are muted. I'm going to unmute you. There you go. Hold on.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. There you go. Thank you, Audrey. Tell everybody where you're joining us from.
I am joining you from Scottsdale, Arizona.
Beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona, and orange is the color. We coordinated this today. So I appreciate you doing that today. Orange is the color. It's the fall color. It's the tiger's color. And so, Audrey, you and I met last year at the EXP conference, and I pose questions all the time to people watching our live stream. Hey, if you have a question, let us know. And one of your team members sent that in, like, hey, we have a rock star former attorney on our team. How can we leverage her legal career as a team, but how can she also leverage that as an agent? And I said, that's a great question. Would you mind being a guest on our live stream? Because I know you have that question for you specifically, but I'm sure others have that same question. How can they leverage their previous career and weave it into their story, into their unique value proposition, and you agreed to come on today. And so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So you grew up, tell everybody your story, because your story is really important, because many people think you have to come from real estate, you have to come from luxury, you have to have a father or a mom that came from a legal background to be an attorney. Tell everybody your story, coming up from a very rural Illinois town.
Yes, Michael, I grew up in a small town in West Central Illinois, so about 4 hours southwest of Chicago. My dad was a hog farmer, so we had cattle and hogs and corn and soybeans. But I was raised to, look towards your future and, really leverage your skills. So I decided to go to law school after I graduated college. So I went to law school at DePaul University.
Yeah, so I'm typing this in right now, and don't shy away from your story. I was a former high school health and PE teacher. I got an 18 on my ACT the first time, and I got an 18 the second time. And so I teach agents that, listen, if a former high school gym teacher could sell luxury homes, now mind you, I've invested a lot of time in trainings and materials and books and coaches, and Tony Robbins says success leaves clues. So I have learned from the best, and I've given credit. I'm not self-made. I've learned from others. But if you, a former hog farmer's daughter, a former attorney, can be talking to developers, and we'll talk more about that here in the second half of today's show, what's holding others back, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, hey, we got a DePaul alum listening here. Ryan Horvath from Chicago Title is. So Ryan, what year did you graduate, and what about you, Audrey?
I graduated from DePaul Law School in 2009.
2009. All right, very good. So Ryan, you could type that in the comment section, but we have Audrey Myers on the show here for those that are just tuning in, or for those of you that are watching the replay. And today's topic is all about how can you leverage your previous career, or and don't be shy of your story. Don't be embarrassed of your story. I was doing a training out in uh, California for a guy named Brent Gove. Many of you know Brent Gove, and it was in Granite Bay Country Club in July. So about a month and a half ago, we had over 200 agents in the room. We were talking about how to break into luxury. By the way, those of you that are watching on Instagram, the best way to interact and to see Audrey is to go to our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, type in Marketing Luxury Group, and you'll find our YouTube channel. Hit that red subscribe button, and you'll be able to see Audrey, and you'll be able to ask her questions. By the way, Ryan's a couple of years older. You in 2002 he graduated, but Ryan, we got another DePaul grad on here, and so on that training that we did out in Granite Bay Country Club for Brent Gove, and it was brand agnostic. We literally had an audience member say, "Hey, I'm a former barber. I'm a part-time. I'm just getting into real estate. I'm a former barber." And so, how do I tell my story? Okay. And so each of you has your story. Don't be shy. Okay. Don't be embarrassed by it. Okay. I had on my podcast probably 2 months ago Heidi Joy. I think she was episode 196. Heidi Joy went through a bad divorce, and she remembered Googling herself, and she couldn't find anything about her online about herself as a real estate agent. And she said, you know what? I got to tell my story. I got to tell more people about me. And so Heidi Joy um, was she was in that same situation. And so if Heidi Joy was a little embarrassed about her story, not necessarily embarrassed about her story being divorced, but embarrassed that she couldn't be found online and she wasn't telling people her story. And so that's really what we want to help you guys be. She was episode 188. I want to recommend that to anybody that wants to hear Heidi Joy's story, how she Googled herself and she couldn't find anything about her online. Heidi Joy was episode 188 on Luxury Listing Specialist podcast. And this is what we are doing right now. We have literally, Heidi is in all of us. We all have a story in all of us. And so does Audrey Myers. And so Audrey is going to tell everybody a little bit about her story. And Audrey, so you went to DePaul, you got your degree, and tell everybody you didn't get your real estate license right away. Tell everybody what you were doing.
So when I was at law school, I fell in love with my property law classes, and the real estate firms weren't hiring. So I found a job with a discount brokerage company, and they were looking for a secretary. So I went to work for them for about a year and realized I liked real estate. So I got my real estate license one summer while I was in law school, and I sold homes for just friends and family. Graduated law school and started working as a mortgage foreclosure attorney. So I was that attorney that unfortunately had to take homes away from people when the market was crashing. So I've been able to talk to clients and people
By the
that.
way, by the way, I think you're going to see more and more of that in the next year or two, right? I think you're going to see more and more short sales and foreclosures. I had on our podcast recently Tony Martinez, who's the president of CDPE, Certified Distressed Property Expert. Okay, that's a certification, and you're going to see more and more of those. Do you believe that as well?
Um, as of right now, I'm not sure. The market is completely different than it was back then. I mean, I was speaking to people that were making next to nothing and had a $1 million home in Barrington. So these lenders, I saw firsthand, were giving loans to people that absolutely, you get a loan, you get a loan. Right now, I bought my first house last year, and I almost had to give my firstborn to get a loan. So right now, I don't see that happening. But if the lenders try to get too creative with their loaning, that will be concerning to me, because that's what had happened 12 years ago. Now, people will just stay in their homes. They don't have to sell. And
Right.
if they're short on money, they have so much equity in their home that they don't have to go to foreclosure. The people that will go to foreclosure are maybe people that lost their job, or maybe someone that just should have never gotten a loan in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we'll also see, we had a halt on mortgage foreclosures and short sales for a while with COVID. So when you see those numbers go up, it's not so much, oh, they've increased by 50% or whatever that number is. It's just, no, we just haven't had any. So.
Right. No, you're right. You're right. I do think banks and lenders are being much more careful today than they were, previously. Uh, Bank of America, however, just announced, I think about a week and a half ago, zero down, zero closing cost mortgages for first-time home buyers in Black and Hispanic communities, and uh, so some of these banks are being creative, which is great, to diversity groups. There's some people that are saying, how is this not, when we're talking about discrimination, how is this not discrimination? But that's a whole nother topic I don't want to get into today. But you brought up a good point that you're not seeing the zero down, the stated incomes like we saw, 12, 13, 14 years ago. And that you're exactly right. So I do think that will help, but I do think we are going to see more people that overpaid for something in Florida or Arizona or Tennessee or some of the Carolina and some of these hot markets. They bought a $500,000 home for $580 because there were 13 offers, and that home might not appreciate much. It might depreciate, and so you're going to see people that get discouraged. But that's a whole nother topic. So you were an attorney, you were a secretary before that, because you couldn't find, none of these real estate companies were hiring. You got licensed as an agent when?
I got licensed as an agent in 2008.
2008, and they weren't hiring because that's right at the height of the downturn. And so you moved to a new area. You moved from Chicago to Arizona when?
I did. I moved here in 2015 and got my Arizona real estate license in 2016. So since 2016, I have been a more full-time real estate agent versus a lawyer. I still do practice. I have my own law firm, but I do things such as title review, phone calls, letters, negotiating. I'd say 90% of people, they just hear from a lawyer and they don't want to fight. So
Sure.
it's come in helpful at times. I don't always lead with that lawyer, but if she needs to come out, I'll bring her out.
You'll bring out the lawyer in you
Bring
then.
her out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, so, the topic for today, Audrey, is in this case, you're attorney. You have two hats, right? The
Hmm.
topic for today is helping agents that are watching or listening to this or watching a replay, broker owners, team leaders, maybe people not even in real estate, but leveraging your story, your previous career. How can you leverage that? Now, of course, yours, I think, is much easier than most, right? Because attorneys, although they're maybe not liked in a lot of circles, in some cases there's that trust and credibility, and in some cases ethics. In other cases there isn't ethics, right? But I think of an attorney as someone that is organized, they're educated, they confidentiality from a client standpoint. So
Hmm.
for you, if I were to work with you to help leverage your story, especially with high net worth individuals, ultra high net worth individuals, time is important, trust is important. And so for you, I mean, I think it's on a silver platter. I think for you, you have a much easier time leveraging your background story than many people, right, do, that perhaps are new to real estate, or real estate wasn't their primary career. They didn't graduate or get their first job out of college as a real estate agent. I think it's more difficult, but I think there's certain professions that lend themselves to help catapult and spring themselves into those upper price points, and yours is one.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I also think that when you think of things as easy or difficult, that's just only going to hold you back. I always think if you are a hairdresser, don't look at yourself as just a hairdresser. Look at yourself as, creative, and, you're able to handle objections from your customers that they don't like things a certain way. You handle a lot of different personalities. So those are a lot of skills that, even lawyers don't have. So,
Yeah.
I have team members, Samantha Sloan, she's my co-list. She's amazing. She's back here videoing me. She's very creative. I am in some ways, but you
She's
know,
what I would call more right brain, right? To keep it
yeah,
simple, in real estate, we talk about DISC a lot, Myers-Briggs, artificial intelligence, all this stuff, AI. But to keep it really simple, you got right brain and you have
hmm,
left brain. Your right brain are
yeah,
your assist, the girl that's on your team that's more creative, right? They're more probably social, right? She's more probably high eye and will network and go to events and not afraid to
mhm,
post about real estate and have let people know what she does for a living, right? I tell agents all the time, shy real estate agents have skinny kids. You got to have your business card and let people know what you do for a living. So she's probably, those are her strengths, where your strengths might be some of those same, but might be more, you're more organized and you're thinking 3-year, 5-year plans, and you're thinking about legalities and paperwork, and you're more linear thinking. And so having a mixture of team members that's left brain, right brain is a good thing. You might drive each other nuts at times, but you guys also complement each other.
absolutely. So what I'm trying to say is that, never feel that, just because, you are a teacher or an engineer, or really find like what your skill set is, because that can be applied to real estate. I mean, being a lawyer, people are impressed. They're impressed with that. Like, but at the same time, I don't rely on just that title. I actually explain, hey, not just because I'm smart or I'm a lawyer, it's that because I'm used to being ready for objections. So when I sell a house, I'm not just saying, hey, this is beautiful, it has hardwood floors, brand new remodel. It's also, hey, when you pull your rules and regulations from your HOA, did you know that, you have you're required to plant certain amount of trees, or you have all of these limitations that a lot of buyers are not going to want. So how are we going to overcome that in order to sell your house and get it for the most money? Because a lot of agents don't think like that, but just because you're not a lawyer doesn't mean that you can't do those things.
Yeah. And
So,
that's really, at the end of the day, all the consumer cares about. If those of you that have heard me speak before, right, type it in. I'd love to know. First person to type it in, we'll email you a digital copy of our objection handling playing cards. Our objection handling playing cards, along with other swag, can be found at luxuryspecialsgear.com. Whoever types in first the most listened to radio station that the consumer listens to, we'll send those over to you. But remember, for you, Audrey, you are going to tell people about your background and how it benefits them from a due diligence, from a title standpoint. That barber might tell a story on how being well connected in the community, I'll get you on more eyeball traffic than just throwing it on a website. For me, I tell people, as a teacher, I had to work with, and as a former coach and a coach, okay, I had to blend different personalities, different backgrounds, and I'm used to that. And I understand people learn differently, different learning modalities. Some people are visual, some people listen, some people are hands-on. So when I go to market your home, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm not just going to throw it on the MLS. I'm thinking all the time, what can I do that's different, creative, to get your home sold? So again, how does it benefit them? That's ultimately what you need to think about. And German, you're exactly right. The most listened to radio station that seller cares about on that listing appointment, or that buyer cares about, is what's in it for them. No offense, they don't care that you went to DePaul or that I went to Northern Michigan. They care about how your law degree will benefit them. Okay, how that's going to get them more money on the sale of their home or protect them. Okay, that's what you have to remember. So we got some great comments. Ben, thanks for 2008. We're talking about short sales was a disaster. Okay, so Ben, thanks for that. German, equity is nothing more than an insurance policy for the banks. Audrey was spot on about lending being so different now than back in 2008. It is different today, but there are more and more banks trying to be creative with DEI and other things that could be good, could be bad, could be a mixture. People buy home based on payment, low interest rates. And Ben, I don't disagree with you on that, but I'm actually going to do a video talking about how, although rates are double that they were a year ago, okay, how it might be a better investment for a buyer today to buy a home today, even though their monthly payment is higher and their payment overall, their interest rate is higher, because that $300,000 home they bought a year ago, they ended up paying $360,000, $370,000 because they were in 15 offers, and 20% down on 300,000. Okay, is different today because they're paying 300 or less. They're probably paying 95% of the asking price today. So they were out of pocket less, and they have more equity today than they did a year ago because they overpaid a year ago. So I'm going to talk about that on a Luxury Friday. I'm going to bring on somebody as an expert to talk about payment and rates on a future Luxury Friday, because many buyers are on the fence today. They don't want to buy because, man, rates are higher or my payment's higher, but they're missing the mark. They're paying market value for it today. They might get it 95% of list price versus a year ago, multiple offers paying 10, 12, 15% above asking price. So when they go to sell in 5 to 7 years, they don't have equity. Where today you're buying, if you're selling in 5, 7, 10 years, you will have equity. So that's a whole nother topic. So anyways, look at that. Samantha, we got people giving you love today. Okay. So look at that. So Audrey, keep it up. I appreciate that. So really good advice. I'd love anybody from watching this right now, no matter what platform you're on, let us know your previous career. Let us know what you did, and we will get Audrey's opinion and my opinion, how you can leverage that into your unique value proposition. So Audrey, while we're waiting on that, tell everybody, fast forward to today. You've had some great opportunities. through networking and going to social settings with builders and developers. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So I first started working with builders the end of last year. I met my first builder investor in a social setting and got to talking to him about real estate and found out that he buys a lot here in Arcadia and Arcadia Light and Biltmore, which are mostly luxury areas in Phoenix. And they also build in San Diego. And we just established a relationship and told them about me, and they hired me for our first listing. That was in November of last year. So since then, they have bought 13 homes with me, and two of them are current. Well, one of them's on the market. One is soon to be on the market in a couple weeks. So it was definitely a crazy 6 months because, with some investors, they write a lot of offers. You're not always getting all of them. But yeah, we took off, and I've really used that experience to meet other builders as well.
So you're not afraid to network. When you approach these builders, these developers, do you have the what's in it for them mentality? In other words, you need to bring value. There's how many real estate agents are in Arizona? You probably don't know that answer, but there's a lot, right? Everybody knows a real estate agent. So you need to differentiate yourself. You need to bring more value to that relationship, that conversation. And how are you doing now?
Yeah, you need to know what skill set that you bring that no one else can or few people can. And I knew that's something I could offer and you also need to know your competition. In the luxury world, it's tight knit. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows what's been on the market, what won't sell. So really earning that respect of the community and legitimizing yourself. So for me, I just thought I was tired of working nonstop and I wanted to work smarter, not harder. So I looked up the top 10 luxury builders in Phoenix, and I got them on the phone, and I told them who I was and that I work with investors and builders and that I am an attorney. I'm able to find you off-market properties that other people can't because I have relationships. I can call up probate attorneys, divorce attorneys, mortgage foreclosure attorneys, and say, hey, my client, I'm Audrey Myers with Myers Law Group. My client is interested in this property. What's going on? Is it being litigated? Can we submit an offer? So immediately these lawyers, they talk to me because I'm another lawyer. So they will not talk to any other agents. So for me, I knew that these builders were going to think, who are you? So I told them, I said, I have something of value for you. I would love to talk to you about this and how we can bring you more business. And it was funny because before I brought up the lawyer and I was just introducing myself working with builders, you could see a sense of, well, I'm already working with somebody, well, the market's a little slow. I don't want to buy. And then, well, and also I'm an attorney and I can talk to these probate attorneys and really get you in front of them on these distressed properties. It was like they immediately, and I mean, these are people, when I meet with them on their specs and in their offices, these are people, they're saying, I just want to let you know, I don't do this. I don't meet other agents. So, however, I wouldn't be intimidated. If you're not a lawyer, you can still find ways, like you could go to their office and knock on the door and say, hey, I was driving by and I saw this property that, I looked you up. I saw you buy in Arcadia, because they're very impressed with not necessarily your education, but the way you stepped out of the box, the way that you did something that was uncomfortable. You just made an appointment with somebody. So anyone can just do that, do your research.
I mean, how, so keep what's their ideal client? What are they looking more of, right? So they're looking for more opportunities, more developments, more flips, more in this case, right? So you don't need to be an attorney to do some due diligence and do some bird dogging, is a term that real estate investors use, but try to find them something. So if we were to role play and you were the developer, I might say, hey, Audrey, what right now, what are you looking from a business plan standpoint as 2023 approaches? Are you looking to do some more spec houses or custom homes or more subdivisions? I have access a lot of times to off-market properties, or we'll do some due diligence and do some digging to maybe find you something. So tell me what it is you're looking for. And now you're coming from a place of not just, hey, I want to list your spec, or hey, I want to be the agent in your subdivision, from a, let me help you find more what it is you're looking for. It's a different approach.
Yeah, and I do that. And I also, let's be honest, everybody loves a compliment. So if you're driving by and you see a home being built, as long as the gate's open, I take a little video, and if there's a painter there, I ask, hey, may I take a look at the house? And, I will, take a video, maybe tag, you can tag them on Instagram or call them up and say, hey, I saw your home and I was really impressed with your work. I mean, what's the worst thing they say? Oh, thank you. But they're immediately going to like you because you complimented them. But never lead with, oh, but maybe I can help sell your home. But
Right.
when I lead the other way, like maybe one time somebody said, I'm working with somebody, I've been working with her for 50 years, but I don't like taking no for an answer. So I still, I thought, well, we got to talking about other things, like I worked with tax liens. Well, then his ears perked up. He said, well, actually, I'm looking into investing in tax liens and tax certificates in Arizona.
Right.
So I have a meeting with him, even though he's worked with an agent for many years. So when you have to be careful, don't step on people's toes, because, people have agreements with other agents or whatever. But you just keep talking about like how you can
second opinion. Second opinion is
Yeah.
the thing that I always remind people. Second opinion. Hey, Audrey, I know you have your preferred real estate brokerage that you work with. Hey, if you ever need a second opinion on something, you want a different perspective, you need a different evaluation, feel free, no obligation. I'm not in the arm twisting business, just a soft approach. So some really, really good information there. Any questions for Audrey here before we let her go? I got a couple other things I want to cover today. Any questions for Audrey? So we got somebody from the human resource department. So Samantha, I would leverage the heck out of the fact that you work with different personality types. You're not afraid to have those tough conversations. So Samantha, thanks for sharing that. Missy, tax advisor. So, tax, I would think just like attorney, you dot your I's, you cross your T's, you're left brain, you're linear, you're organized, you're punctual. Those are all good things, Missy, in a real estate agent. German, a shuttle bus driver. I would talk to your people person. You want an agent that's a shy real estate agent to let somebody know to get your home sold, or you want somebody that their previous career, we talked, we were organized, I was an employee, I had to clock in, clock out, got great work ethic to get your home sold. So leverage that, so all really good information. I had to do a double check, but Ben, I thought it said Bon Jovi for a second. I thought I had Bon Jovi on my Luxury Fridays, but it's Ben Jovi. And Ben, we love you. Thanks for being on here. In this day and age, people will sue you over everything. Have an attorney, it's worth it. So you're right, from legal aspects. You're absolutely right. So this is a question for Audrey, though. How would you recommend a real estate agent get in the luxury market for the first time? It feels intimidating. So Audrey, give her your thoughts, and then I will give my thoughts. That we cover a lot on our Luxury Fridays, a lot on our podcast. This is one of our most commonly asked questions, so I'd be happy to answer it for her. But go ahead, Audrey. What do you recommend?
I am big on mentoring. So everybody in this business should have a mentor. So we are looking for team members to help us in our business, and really associating yourself with a luxury agent or someone that's branching into the field. That would be my number one. Actually, don't do it alone. If you're doing this alone, you're probably not doing that well. or you're lying, you're not doing it alone. So yeah, I would totally recommend finding a team such as myself. Michael is very experienced as well. But yeah, really lean on people that are experienced and learn from us, learn what to do and what also not to do. With my team, I say, okay, these are the mistakes I made. You're going to make mistakes, but here, hopefully you learn from me. Don't do this.
Absolutely. Tony Robbins says success leaves clues. That's a great question. Feel free. We do our live trainings, in-person trainings. Somebody asked about getting the designation, but they don't want to come to Milwaukee. I would still go to luxurydesignation.com. You guys go there. You'll see all the bonus items we're offering. Over $2,200 in bonus, $2,445 in value. Literally, if you go to luxurydesignation.com, you'll find out more information. But I'd recommend that as well. Grow your knowledge and your confidence will grow. We will give you the tools and resources to be more confident. You will have, if you're on a team already and you're not getting the support that you need in the luxury side, we help you. We help brands launch luxury divisions. We'd be happy to help. Audrey, you were awesome today. I thank you for being on. We have a couple more things I want to cover, so I'm going to let you go here. But real quick, Audrey, what's the best way for somebody to get in touch with you if they have a question?
They can call or email me. I can give
Type
my
that in the comments section if you would. So call or email Aubrey. The best way to get in touch with her, if you're watching this live, that's the best way. Aubrey, you were amazing today. Matt says, yep, Matt beat you to it. Matt had a question. So Aubrey, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Thanks so much, Michael.
All right, you're welcome. You're welcome. We're talking about how can you leverage your career today. Aubrey brings in a very sophisticated attorney background to the table. She did a great job today, didn't she? And we want to hear from you. If you have a topic you want us to cover, if you want something to talk about, I'm actually going to type in Aubrey's information and throw it on the screen right now. And I'm going to throw it in here. This is Aubrey's information right here. And you guys can type it in. Audrey Myers. I keep saying Audrey. Tomato. She forgives me there. But hey, Audrey is doing some great things. Find her on Instagram. Shoot her an email. And thank you again, Audrey Myers from Arizona. Maybe I'll see you, Audrey, in October out in Vegas again. That would be fun. This time, don't break your toe, though, if we see you out there, okay? So anyways, Michael LaFido, type in your questions if you got them. Type in your questions if you got them. And again, guys, don't forget, if you want to follow us on Instagram, we're Luxury Listing Specialist on Instagram. Those of you watching us on Instagram, thank you. And our TikTok is Luxury Specialist on TikTok. We got, I think, over 50 videos on TikTok. We want to do a better job on TikTok, but by all means, if you are a specialist, if you have something of value that you want to bring to the table, please let us know what that is. But luxurydesignation.com, we are coming to you live here. And I'll tell you how long. We're coming to you live in 11 days, 21 hours, and 41 minutes is when we're doing our next in-person event. And we think we have another one coming up in Houston. We'll let you know when that is announced, hopefully in the next week or two. So my name is Michael LaFido. I want to see if anybody else has any questions. Let me look through here. Any questions? While I got you on here, don't forget about our swag. If you guys go to, oh, by the way, this is our Luxury Fridays. If you go to luxuryfridays.com, this is what you see. You see our live stream link. Our top link is always there. But some of you have asked about our luxury specialist gear and our objection handling playing cards. If you go to luxuryspecialistgear.com, this is where you can get your swag on, your t-shirts, your hoodies, your objection handling playing cards. Luxuryspecialistgear.com, Luxury Specialist Gear. Literally, you can type on the sweatshirts and you can see women's hoodies and men's hoodies and sweatshirts, luxury redefined. Location is one of our most popular. Location. You go to luxuryspecialistgear.com. Guys, I'm your host, Michael LaFido. I'm looking to see if we have any other comments. I don't see any right now. Again, keep raising the bar. Remember, the news, they want to divide you. They want to divide me. They want to divide our neighbors from each other. It's amazing how much we have in common if we just talk to each other. I'm your host, Michael LaFido. Continue to prove others wrong. I appreciate everybody that was on this live stream. Until next time, next week, we will be on. Oh, we got a question. Next week, we will be on same time, same place. What is the best way to approach a luxury homeowner with creative term whose home has been sitting on the market for a long period of time? So again, if a home is currently listed, you cannot approach them. That's a code of ethics violation in all 50 states. Double check with your broker. But if they approach you, you can call them back or you can talk to them. So if you have the opportunity to talk to somebody, talk to them about your creativity, what you would do differently. If this home is off the market, German, feel free to send me a link and you and I can strategize on some creativity ways that I would recommend to differentiate that home from the competition, to position it more effectively than perhaps they did previously. Literally, I was on an appointment. I was previewing a $6.5 million property yesterday. It's over 20,000 square feet, has an NBA regulation basketball court, indoor pool, outdoor pool. And I gave the listing agent some suggestions. He asked what my thoughts on it. Don't have a scarcity mindset. So I'd be happy to help you, German. Shoot me an email. Again, my email, put it on the screen. It's real simple. It's just Michael at Marketing Luxury Group. And type in fresh eyes analysis help. Fresh eyes analysis help. Include a link, German, and I'd be happy to help you. Again, feel free to go to joinluxegroup.com or luxuryfridays.com for more information on me. And we'd be happy to help you guys out. Make it a great Friday. My name is Michael LaFido, and let me see if there's any other questions. I don't see any other questions, German. Great question. A fresh approach. Look at the photos. Do you like the photos from last time? Did the agent accentuate the best features, German, from last time? How was the description? Did they focus on the house and not the area? Did they incorporate the area? These are all things that you can do, and that's what I'd recommend. My name is Michael LaFido. Keep raising the bar in real estate, and until next time, prove others wrong. Take care, everybody. Talk to you soon.